At the end, at the end of the day, I'm not sure. I mean, you know, I hope that what we have done is simply to bring this forward, so that there's a whole large group of folks who played and really loved Fallout that now get a chance to play it and hopefully enjoy it again, which they haven't gotten to do for 10 years, and open it up to a whole new group of people who weren't playing PC games in '97 or '98 or didn't gain a chance to play it. I mean, you know, our goal is to, you know, to have it be a game that folks who played the original games would love, and people who have never played it will also come in and go, well, this is really great. You know, I never knew this was around before, but I really love the tone and setting and all the things that we loved about the original. But what specific, you know, I don't know if there's any one feature like, oh, this is what we brought to Fallout. You know, we try and balance both being true to what the series is about and this idea of reinvention that we believe in very strongly, which is that if you just iterate on an idea over and over and do a slightly different version of what they did last time, your franchise dies. Because we have literally dozens and hundreds of examples of game franchises we used to play that are no longer around because that's what they did. They just iterated on the last thing. Game just like that game, but with some new art and, you know, new story, but it's pretty much the same thing. And we believe in, you know, trying to move forward. And you know what, we're going to shake things up a little bit. We're gonna not change what we think is the core of the game, but we're going to try and introduce new ideas. So something like Facts is an example of that, where we said, you know, doing turn-based combat in a first, third-person thing, you know, maybe we figure out a way to mix it up some and still keep that tactical feel and let the player make choices, still want the stats of your character to be meaningful into how successful you are. But maybe we can do it differently. Maybe we can present it in a way that, you know, wasn't possible 10 years ago. I mean, gaming has moved by leaps and bounds, so who knows what that game would look like if it was coming out for the first time now. So I think we've tried to bring that to it, that, you know, stay true to it, but, you know, try some new things. We're very clear about what Fallout is and isn't, and it's, you know, it's almost the opposite, which is that, you know, we try and be pretty careful about anything new that we're introducing to the world, that it fits with what Fallout is about and what it would or would not be there. Which sometimes, even in and of itself, can be, you know, Fallout is a bit mixed in that respect sometimes. Like it's very, you know, the original game is very gritty and hardcore, and there's all these realistic guns, and then there's a UFO and there's an alien blaster. Like, wait, what? But no, most of the stuff, you know, there's nothing like, oh, I wish we could do this, but that's not right for Fallout. Like, it's just too cool and too rich a series and franchise that there's so much stuff that you can't do that you really don't have time to worry about the stuff that you can't do, because you're trying to whittle down the stuff you can do and figure out what do we have time to do and get in there. So there's plenty of stuff that you can do within the series. So I don't think that's ever been a problem. I certainly hope so, because I certainly think those are things that we have tried very hard to bring to the game, to the experience. That, you know, that 50s music and how we introduce it. That, you know, you've got this Pip-Boy on your wrist that you can tune radio stations in on and listen to, you know, a DJ, and he's talking about what's going on in the world and the music and, you know, some of the dark humor that comes from I don't know, from a lot of different sources, from dialogue, from, you know, watching somebody's head get blown off in vats in slow mo. Like, it's funny. You know, the number of times I watch somebody play the game when they don't even know I'm standing there watching them, and they blow somebody's arm or leg or head off, and they start laughing. Like, because it's funny. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be sort of so over the top that you can't help but laugh. So, you know, I think all of that I would consider that dark. I would consider humor that is prompted by a body part being blown off. I consider that to be dark. So, you know, hopefully that we have done, you know, a good job of that, and I would agree with you. I think those are two of the things that really make, you know, it's not just post-apocalyptic, but it's post-apocalyptic with this tone and this flavor to it. You know what? I'm too close to it. Like, I'm too close to it to say for sure. Like, this is the thing everybody's gonna love. You know, hopefully it's just that they got that whatever their experience was, they feel like it was their experience. It wasn't like I played the exact same as everybody else, but here's what I did and here's what happened. And what did you do? And what happened? Oh, I didn't even think to try that. I didn't even think to do that. I never even made it there. Like, that everybody gets a customized experience, but what that's going to be, who knows. We announced at E3 that we're doing exclusive downloadable content for PC and Xbox 360.
Is it exclusive?
Exclusive
for a time?
It's exclusive.
So it won't be 6 months down the line and then appear on this week?
Exclusive.
And none for the PS3?
Yeah. Exclusive for PC and 360. If you want downloadable content, we're doing it on those platforms. In the past, we've tried to be very careful about dollars to points ratio. But yeah, that's the intent. And the intent is that it is substantial stuff. Stuff like the Knights of the Nine download for Oblivion, something that adds a couple of hours of additional gameplay. I mean, when you make a decision like that, a lot goes into it, not just economics. I mean, there's a lot of factors on it, but it just it was the right thing for us to do for a lot of reasons. Technical, business. There's a whole list of stuff. I think when you talk about a game like ours, where you know we're providing 100 hours of gameplay, I can understand if the game that we're providing is an 8-hour single player experience, and then we're expecting you to pay for an additional 2 hours. I can see people getting bent out of shape about that. But when you're talking about 100 hours of gameplay, and then at some point after we're done with the content, our content guys start coming up with new ideas for new stuff they'd like to do. I don't see what the issue is there. I certainly think,
content.
yeah, it's at some point, I don't know if there's a notion that we continue to add stuff to the game right up to the day before we ship it, but I assure you that is not even remotely close to the truth. That the first thing you have to stop doing to the game is add content, because every time you're adding content, you're probably breaking the game somehow. And so if you're going to fix it and fix all the bugs, you have to stop changing all of the things that are in the world, so that you're not breaking AI pathing. You'd be stunned to know all the stuff you can break by the simplest of things, moving a rock. How could that possibly? It did, because it did this to this, and then this did this, and now every third person falls through the world in this part of the world. Like, oh, they shouldn't have moved that rock. So the first thing you got to do when you want to get it shipped is stop touching the game from a content standpoint and just work on fixing it, making it work.
You stopped touching the game?
No, I mean we're still in the process of fixing, tweaking, tuning, all of that stuff. I think there's probably a few content things that are still left to be done, but the bulk of what we're doing now is play testing, balance, fix problems, get game done. Honestly, I think there's a lot of stuff in there that, in different parts. I really like the stuff on Galaxy News Radio with Three Dog. As you're playing through the game and playing through the main quest, that he not only comes in and does his little public service announcements about this or that, those little radio plays that he plays, but he also talks about what you're doing out in the world, and then the music. I just playing the game and having Galaxy News Radio on your wrist, it's just, I think it's terrific. I think some of the dialogue stuff is great, like Gob. If you haven't played yet, you can go talk to Gob, the bartender in Moriarty. There's just, it's just kind of funny, talking to a ghoul for the first time, that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of really good moments in the game all throughout it. So there's 2 main radio stations, but then there's signals all throughout the world that could potentially pop up. A distress signal, or whatever. Some of them will lead you to quests, some of them will